In the United States, this year, if we look at all of the 18-year-old kids who go to college, these are the best students in the United States. These are not the kids who failed. They made it to college. The best test takers, they filled out their applications, they made it. Of this year's 18-year-olds, freshman class, out of every 100 children, do you know how many children will finish college? And these are the best students. Out of 100, 24. 76% of American children who make it to college do not finish. Now, why is that? We know they're smart. They made it to college. They don't have the life skills. They don't know how to balance their money. They don't know how to organize their laundry. They don't know what to do when you broke up with your girlfriend or boyfriend and you feel sad. They don't know about real life. That's what the road can teach children. So, for example, if a child loses money on the road, should we give them extra money? No. Let them lose their money. Let them understand what happens when you lose things. The best trip that I do with children, but this took years, and I hope some of you will think about this. Usually, when I see a group of children on the road, let's say there are 30 children on a trip. How many chaperones do you think there should be? May I ask, how many adults do you think should be with the 30 children? Any thoughts? How many should go? How many adults? 2, 3, 5, 2. I've seen some classes with 10. 30 kids, 10. In my classroom, even with 40 kids, 2 chaperones, my wife and me. You have to have. My wife is a nurse. Okay, my wife is a nurse, which is very good. But what I tell the children is, if we need a lot of chaperones, you should not be on the trip. You should not be on a trip if you need someone to watch you. That's the important thing. So, every summer, I take 40 children to a small town in a place called Oregon where they do Shakespeare plays and other plays. The children go for 11 days. 11 days, no chaperones, and all day long they have total freedom. These kids are 13, 14, and 15 years old. They wake up in the morning and they can decide, do I want to swim? Do I want to ride a bicycle? Do I want to watch a play? Do I want to go to the movies? Do I want to read? Do I want to read? And then in the evening, I see them for about 10 minutes. How was your day? Does anybody have any problems? Good night. No chaperones. They plan their own meals. They handle their own money. All of these children swear to me, 8 years later, they did well in college because of the road. For those of you who plan trips with children, I beg you, stop worrying about the itinerary. Stop thinking, in the morning we go to this museum. In the afternoon we go to this monument. In the evening we see this play. That's not important. What is important is, what are the children learning on the road about life? Am I eating well? Am I eating too many cookies? Am I drinking too many sodas? Am I getting enough sleep? Have I been in my room with 4 children and we have not argued about who has the first shower? Who sleeps where in the bed? What did I do with my dirty clothes? Did I do my laundry in time so that I have clean clothes when I need them? Did I lose my money or my other things that we need? This is what we spend time doing on the road. And I hope some of you will think about this as you plan trips with children. It's very important. And even if you're not going to be on the road for a long time, even just going out to dinner, just in a restaurant, think about what you can teach your children about how to order on a menu. Many children don't know because their parents order for them. How to pick things. It's really interesting when I take my students out for a meal and I ask them, what did the meal cost? They have no idea, but they should. So dinner with your children or lunch could be a math lesson. Budgeting their money, choosing food carefully. This is what we have to do. We must get our children out of the classroom because they're going to be out of your classroom one day. We cannot get them ready to leave if they have never left. So please think about ways to get your children out on the road. If you do, I would like to close with the best letter I've ever had. It is the last letter in the book, Teach Like Your Hair is on Fire. And my goal as a teacher is to give the children skills that they will use many years later. There is a college in the United States called Notre Dame. It is a very famous school. And every year, 17,000 students try to get in. Every year, Notre Dame gets 17,000 essays. And one year, they contacted me because they said, Rafe, this is the best essay we have ever seen, ever. This is from a little girl named Janet. Janet did not tell me about this essay. I did not know about it. The college wrote to me. And as teachers, I hope you will really listen to what this little girl said, because I think this little girl, more than anybody, can teach you something very important about what we are trying to do as teachers. This is the best letter I have ever had in 29 years, and I hope it will make you think about what Janet made me think about. Janet was asked to write about her childhood and what she went through as a child. When this essay starts, it's a little bit boring. She talks about being in the play. Please keep listening because she's going to surprise you with what she has to say about being a child. This is what Janet wrote. And I think this is a lesson for everybody in this room. I think Janet is our best teacher. Here's what a 10-year-old child, now she was 18, said about growing up in school. Janet said, "My heart begins to beat as the lights start to dim and the chattering of students slowly dies down from scattered mumblings to silence. The tiny room is flooded with lights, and I look out into the audience. An 11-year-old boy walks out onto the stage, or classroom, I should say, to the opening lines of his character, Benedict. My heart starts to beat again quite rapidly as my turn approaches. The crowd laughs, and I step out onto the stage. It is 6 p.m. It's June 15th, 1998, and I have just started my 12th and final performance of Shakespeare's Much Ado About Nothing. I was first introduced to Shakespeare when I was 9 years old by a teacher, Rafe Esquith, who was known at my elementary school for directing a Shakespeare play every year. Not wanting to miss an opportunity to be in one of his famous plays, I said yes when he asked me. The following year, I was given the opportunity to be in The Winter's Tale. All the plays were performed in our tiny little classroom, room 56, and on that night of the final performance, I could only think to wish how I could stop time. I wish I could put all the feelings that evening into a jar and carry it around with me wherever I go, because the emotions in room 56 that night were full of delight and passion and energy. Putting together those plays every year didn't teach me about Shakespeare. They taught me about teamwork and humility, and that when one of my fellow classmates was on stage, it was his turn to be in the spotlight, not mine. I learned how to play many instruments because we incorporated pop songs into the scenes. I became aware of the value of responsibility and hard work. Who would have thought one could learn so much just by being in a play? I learned my most valuable lessons during my year in room 56, and I treasure all the experiences I have in that tiny little classroom. Hobart Elementary School is located in the heart of downtown, and as I look back on my elementary years, I think about the horrible environment I grew up in. There were kids who didn't know how to speak English, even teachers who didn't know how to speak English. A rape or abuse case occurred at least once a week at school, and policemen were seen frequently on campus. Yet, during the 5th grade, when I walked into room 56, everything changed. The world outside stopped existing and disappeared. Instead of gang fights and beggars, my life turned into Shakespeare characters and guitar lessons and history productions. My fears and horrors were replaced by happiness and laughter. It became my second home, and my classmates my second family. I did most of my growing up in room 56, and it shaped and molded me into the person I have become now. No matter what else was happening anywhere in the world, all my troubles could be fixed in this safe haven, and I constantly retreated to it when I had family troubles. And even today, when I am looking for a place where there is only love and joy, where anger and hatred do not exist, I still retreat to room 56. I think that's what all of us have to do. We have to create safe havens where our children can flourish and become the extraordinary people like their teachers. So let's make sure the children feel safe, and let's think about using real life in our classroom, like economic skills, like the arts, like the road, so that the children will not just be successful in your classroom, but successful for the rest of their lives. That is Janet's challenge, my challenge to you, and I thank you for spending time with me this morning. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Rafe. Thank you so much.